hear us, so don't say anything bad about people watching. Oh.
There it is. You can do that.
What's up, Molly? 22 December. How you guys doing? Mikoto. Full spec. I might, Molly. I might. I don't know. We'll see how long this guy talks. I usually do I've been trying to usually do a Twitch stream on Thursdays, but it's only happened like twice when it's supposed to, so no big deal.
Now, between the four of you, separately and together, there's not to mention anything else I might like to listen to.
All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone.
Good evening
to the Guys and Guys podcast, where we talk about Japanese music news. And we have Mr. Jonathan Lane, photographer extraordinaire.
Hello, John.
Goes to every single show possible, never misses one, ever. He's going to every single Band-Maid show in October. No, I was kidding.
I was thinking about it.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing, man?
Thank you. I'm real happy to be here. Big fan myself.
Heck yeah. Well, tell everyone about yourself, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Well, for about 20 years, I've been actively engaged in taking photographs. I started out, I've always enjoyed taking photos, just capturing things that I think are pretty, that I like, that please me, and I think maybe other people would like to look at too. And just as a form of expression. Spent a little bit of time and money getting into doing event photography. So I would, along with, you won't see any of that here, but if anybody wants to see it, I'll show you. Corporate events and wedding photography and bar mitzvahs and parties and things like that. And some headshots, and people needed that sort of thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I tripped out when I saw Vivid Vision on here because I'm friends with Vicky. We're really good friends.
I know you are, yeah. I met her.
Yeah, I work for her technically. Yeah.
You can see where your cursor is.
Yeah, it was really cool meeting her. Also been a big music fan for a long time, and I guess we'll talk about it later, but back around, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood around 2016, I'd started discovering East Asian musicians, and eventually in 2017 that led me to Band-Maid and Scandal, and then one thing led to another. Next thing, I had about 40 Japanese pop and rock bands that I liked, and
awesome.
2018 I brought a camera to a concert. It was the first big concert I've been to in a while, Scandal. Mm-hmm. And 2019 I really got a lot of momentum, which crashed a year later when COVID hit and everything got canceled.
Right.
But during that time, I discovered finally what I want to do, which is take the convergence of those two things, music and musicians, and taking pictures, shooting pictures. And that's all I can think about anymore. I used to take pictures of butterflies and flowers and plants and mountains, and I still appreciate all those things when they come into my field of vision, but I'm just focus now. I mean, the only thing that seems to really interest me is music and musicians.
Man, you really have some great pictures. He's scrolling some on the screen here, and
They're so good.
Yeah,
great shots, man.
Very
If
good.
you
Thank
listen
you.
to this, if you can, get to YouTube and check it out, because it's
Yeah, and if you guys are
Oh,
wondering, go to Jonathan Lane Photography. This is all on Instagram, and as you can see, there's like multiple photos. Like when you click on these, there's like more than just one, and it's really cool. What I love about your Instagram, man, is like the description you put about them. Like this one for Mayu, lead
Awesome.
singer, Tokyo-based Nemophila. Even in their earlier videos, like you put like a whole like descriptive thing on there, and I think that's really cool, describing each photo. So it's not just you just posting up the beautiful photos that you're taking. You take the time to put these really cool like little stories behind each photo, which I think is awesome. I think it's a great thing to do.
Thank you.
that's good.
So-
That's
It's a
really
work in
good for the
progress.
bands.
I'm trying to get better at writing this stuff up, and maybe even be able to write a little longer narratives, you know. But yeah,
Of course, I think it's good, man. These narratives are good. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, it's just
Good
going to
feedback.
help
Thank you.
help further people's interest in the band. If they just start looking at people, and
Hmm.
they can start connecting dots to other bands and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, these
So
photos are
it-
awesome. I don't even know who some of these people are, and I just clicked on. I got lost in your Instagram like multiple times, just looking at photos, and then kind of shocked
too.
by who you had too, like which musicians you got on there. I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know he's seen them. So you've seen a lot of musicians.
I think you guys have talked about Aurora before, haven't you? Or
Yeah,
maybe
I was
I'm
just
thinking
about to
of one-
say, like,
Uh-huh.
that was one of them, because I was like, Aurora, she mind-blowing singer, phenomenal singer, just amazing. I can't imagine how she
Great.
sounded live. I'm sure fantastic, right?
It was like a 2 box of Kleenex set, because
Oh,
Yeah.
his whole love. She's extremely sensitive and emotional, and makes a great emotional connection with her audience, who adore her. And
She put
I
me
felt
to
kind of like a
tears.
tourist, 'cause, a lot of musicians I go see, I either do on a whim or because I kind of pick up on the fact that they exist, and I go, wow, I should really check them out. And so I'm the only guy that doesn't know all the words while they're singing along with them, at the show. But I enjoy that aspect of it too. When there's a connection between the audience and the musicians, it's beautiful. And so I like to try to capture that on the stage, and occasionally, get the crowd in there too.
Aurora made me
I think you guys know these people.
go into tears on the reaction we did. She was singing in a chapel or whatnot, and it was phenomenally recorded in there. It's one
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
best
so.
recordings I've ever heard. Yeah, he had the warning. I think we were about to meet up on that show. When I was supposed to go to a lot of Warning concerts. I went to the one here in Texas, but
Right. Yeah. The Warning. I discovered the Warning through now defunct Reaction Channel. They just kind of called it quits. Whom I discovered through Band-Maid.
Mhm.
And then, but they went off on a different tack and got really, really seriously into the Warning. And I checked them out, and I thought, hey, they're pretty good. I like them, and I could see rotating them into my playlist. And then I went to a show in New York, belly up to the stage, and I went with actually one of those vloggers, one of those YouTubers who met me there. Came up from South Carolina, and we went together, belly up to the stage, and it was a killer show in a 200-person venue, kind of like a live bar, New York style, called the Mercury Lounge.
Yeah,
really cool place.
This opening band was amazing. Hero the band. I forgot they opened for the Warning. They were great. And then, sorry.
That's okay. So, yeah, evidently the band's manager liked the photos too, so he asked me, if he could use them, which I said yes to. And,
cool.
Ended up going out to LA and seeing him at the Whisky, which gave me the opportunity to go to the Whisky A-Go-Go for the first time in my life. That was cool. 2 shows, and I'm sure you guys experience the same thing when you do go to a show. If there are openers, sometimes you've never heard of the openers, and they're almost as good as the act you went to see. and suddenly you got a new favorite. And then you go to see, I've gone to see them. There's a good example right up there in the upper right corner, not J-Rock, but these guys right here, these crazy guys.
Yeah. Did you see them with Avatar? Is that where you saw them?
Yes.
Yeah, they opened for Avatar. I thought they were pretty good too. I did a review on them with the Avatar concert. I saw them in Denver. Pretty good band. With the magic sword, they had props and stuff for the whole entire show, and they're like, it's like video game magic music sword. Almost. Yeah.
Magic sword. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them with it. I went to see. So this is the kind of crazy stuff that happens, which ends up becoming expensive, but by the same token, it's giving me more and more experience at doing what I'm really enjoying doing. Mm-hmm. So I went to see Babymetal in early 2019 here in Philadelphia, near me in Philadelphia, and actually the opener ahead of them was Avatar, and I loved them. They were great. So when Avatar came back, I think that's probably the tour you're referring to. Yep. They had guys playing ahead of them, and it was Magic Sword, and I went, holy. I don't know. Is this a channel we can use 4-letter words on? And I went, holy shimoli.
Yeah, you can cuss.
And and captured a few good shots. And then when they came back and were headlining or co-headlining with another band, I liked that band too. So it just kind of keeps on snowballing, which is great. But yeah, they're visually a lot of fun to photograph.
So when you went to the Whisky Go-Go, that was both of our first time ever being there then. I didn't even realize that. I thought you had been there multiple times.
Oh no, I went there before Nemophila. I went there to see the Warning.
Oh, okay. Were you there too? No, I didn't. No, yeah. I never had been. I've heard about it. I had friends that played there. Never actually got the opportunity to play there, but that was my first time being at the Whisky Go-Go was for Nemophila.
Well, you certainly chose a good first time to go, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome show.
Yeah, the Whisky's, I mean, it's just cool because it's the Whisky Go-Go. It's, it's maybe not, well, I'll say that. It's a cool place to go. And I went 2 nights in a row, which was really nice. And I met this band called the Darbies, who played a few gigs with them in different places on that tour. And so I was already knew the ropes already when I showed up the next time. We all went to see Nemophila.
Yeah. What'd you think about the Nemophila concert while you were there, taking those photos? What'd you feel? Because there's some like disappointment with some people about the show, about people standing there and stuff like that. But how'd you feel when you were there? I had a different feeling when I was there compared to what people said.
I saw that commentary, and I had my back to most people, and I'll tell you one other thing about this afterwards. But so again, I was belly up there because I got there really, really early because I did not, I traveled out there just to see them. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get my money's worth, if you will. What do I think? As far as I could see, the crowd was electrified. I mean, so everybody enjoys music a different way, right? I mean, I might just sometimes do this. And it's partly because I got like an expensive camera around my neck or whatever. But I'm enjoying it as much as the person that's flailing their arms around and jumping up and down and moshing and everything else, just doing this. But it seemed. What did you think? I mean, I thought they were pretty electric overall.
I agreed with you. So that's why I was like baffled when people were saying they weren't excited and stuff. I'm like, I think people were either for one, it was more of an older crowd, probably not trying to do mosh pits, you know what I mean? And also it just looked like everybody was captivated by what was going on,
Sure. I wonder if most people saying that were watching on like online and they couldn't see people moving, which smaller movements probably wouldn't show up on a live stream thing if people are just kind of nodding along and into it as opposed to, like you said, thrashing around in a fucking mosh pit.
And we weren't allowed to. We weren't allowed to thrash around.
Yeah, that's what you said. You couldn't. They kept stopping it from.
I couldn't do shit. Yourself. I couldn't even do this. I was going like this, and they're like, it was too much elbow in the face,
Well, yeah, and in LA they might, some people, yell at you for doing things that they don't think are appropriate.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But I don't think you could have moved around much. At least where I was, I wanted to get over closer to the center so I could get a clear shot at Tamu, which was very difficult to do anyway.
Yeah.
And it was impossible. We were packed in there like sardines. So I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was an outstanding show. I was fanboying like crazy, but as objective as I could be about it, I still thought they did an incredible job. They're right on point. They didn't make any mistakes. I was right in front of Hazuki and and Haraguchi-san the whole time.
Good place
and
to be.
Just watching them and hearing, especially the guitar, Husky's guitar, was just thrilling. I mean, I just heard it like I never would before, because that's a downside to being all the way up front. If you're on one side or the other, you kind of get a distorted view, image of what the sound, what the mix sounds like. But in the case of listening to her, I didn't mind at all. It was great.
How long did it take you to get?
I was ready. If there was another show the next night, I would have stood in line all over again and gone again. They were that good. One of my favorite concerts ever.
Yeah, that concert was crazy because it was just them, and I've actually found out interviewing another artist, Beautiful Skeleton. She said her friend's band was actually supposed to open up for Nemophila, but then it went down to that one, just Nemophila only. And I was wondering why. I was like, but they did so well. I've never been to a show where it's just one band, ever. It's always been three or two because one band dropped off. But so I thought that was interesting. But I guess they did have a band planned to open, and then the band, management decided, no openers. So and the tickets were really cheap, $14 for an Nemophila concert. Good luck getting that in the future.
Awesome. yeah, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, that was a good deal. Well, I got the feeling that their management are a little bit on the control-y side too, so they probably they didn't want anything to possibly make anything go wrong. I don't know what time you arrived, Alan, but I was there for a long time. They played the sound checking. They played the equivalent of the set all the way through twice. It seemed like.
Oh shit!
I swear it was at least 2 hours that we heard. Really.
It went by
pounding and kick drums pounding and guitars wailing. Yeah, could hear Mayu wailing there a little bit.
It went by really fast. I felt like it was like started and over. It was crazy. And now,
but when I've watched it again, portions of it again, it brings me right back to it, and I don't regret at all that I went through all the hassle to go out there and see it.
Now your Band-Maid,
since her gave me a like on one of her shot photos, so that was worth it.
Nice. Right there. And your Band-Maid concert that you went to, how was that, man? Tell us about your experience going to the Band-Maid concerts.
Right? Yeah. So I did go to ultimately all 5 shows that they did in 2019, and I remember thinking, kind of about midway through the second show, thinking, what am I, crazy? I'm going to go all the way out to Dallas and Los Angeles and flights and everything, and I'm going to get kind of tired of this. I didn't get tired at all. It was just as good. I enjoyed myself every bit as much on the 5th show as I did the first. How was it? I think, you never know what's really in other people's hearts, but as far as I can tell, I'm at least as much of a fanboy as you guys are when it comes to Band-Maid.
Yeah.
Maybe... Alan, you're a little more eclectic. In any case, and Ryan, I pick up on Ryan's vibe there. He and I feel kind of the same.
Pretty blatant.
I can't get enough of them. But anyway, so I walk down the stairs to the kind of the lounge, and then you go into the theater area at the Gramercy Theater in New York for the first show. After standing in line for a bunch of hours and chatting with people and stuff, and off the distance, they're 20 feet away, they're sitting at a table. And I was like a 5-year-old kid that sees Mickey Mouse at Disney World for the first time. I just couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded. So they had a little table set up, for the VIP, they had a table set up where they're doing an assembly line of signing these little souvenir postcards. And they're actually hand signing each one of them one by one. So you get to chat with everybody for maybe 30 to 60 seconds.
Wow.
And I practice. Am I telling you too much here, or is this good?
No, go for it, man.
No, this is great.
I practiced and practiced. I tried to practice some longer speeches and maybe a certain thing I would like to say to Akane and to say to Miku and so. But anyway, I decided there's no way my head's just going to empty anyway. So I just focused on one thing, and that was to try to say really well, America e yokoso, which means welcome to America, right? So Psyche was first. She looks up at me, I look down at her, and I say, America e yokoso. And she kind of goes, like, hey, not bad, kid. And my head emptied after that. I couldn't even remember to say America e yokoso to the other four. All I could say was arigato, arigato. And that was it. But then but then the show, I got up front and right in front of, couldn't get to the center, again, there was, so I was, but hey, you can't complain about being about 10 feet in front of economy. So that's where I was most of the time. And just killer show. I mean, it's a really nice theater anyway. If you ever get a chance to go to Gramercy, it's a really nice place. It's an old style movie theater back when there was only one screen for movie theater, right?
Yeah.
And there's a slope where there used to be seats. So even if you're in the back and you're height challenged like me, you can still see what's going on the stage. It's really, and the sound is pretty good. And it was a killer show, of course. And, lasted, I don't remember exactly, but it was probably about 21 songs or something like that. And everybody was emotionally exhausted afterwards. A bunch of people went out and drank and ate together afterwards. It was a real like Woodstocky kind of thing, everybody, a lot of camaraderie. There was, and that's what some people complain, or some people don't like their fellow Band-Maid fan crowds, but I found overall, with a few exceptions, lots of, really nice crowd, really excited and pumped and energetic, but everybody gets along pretty well. So
why would they not like their crowds? Like,
I don't know. Some people, there's always a few nuts in every crowd. I don't know, because everybody has opinions about things, right? But overall, I would say that, just great camaraderie. Everybody's excited. Everybody happy to be there, happy to meet each other. And it's just a really nice kind of, without being too nutty, I think it's a really good community. Those people, it's not the only community I'm in, but it's one that's enjoyable, to kind of revel in all this Band-Maid stuff. I don't know about you guys. Well, certainly when you're on stage, I'm sure you use plugs, right? Earplugs, right?
Yes.
When you have been on stage in the past. I always wear earplugs because when I went to see Scandal in 2018, first big rock concert I went to in a while, you'd be surprised. They're extremely loud. And I couldn't hear for I just had that mashed potato stuffed in my ears feeling for about 12 hours after that. So I'm wearing earplugs from now on. But
definitely. Get those nice fancy ones from like Guitar Center or something. They have really good ones where you can still hear the music and its quality for the most part. It's the best way to do it, man.
Yeah, the high fidelity ones, and I don't go too crazy, but I definitely wear them. It makes a difference. I can still hear, my ears aren't ringing at the end, and I can hear, you can still even hear the cymbals and, most of the, overtones of people's voices and guitars. It muffles a little bit, but what I was going to say was they played the same set. It's weird because I heard that Psyche especially likes to mix it up, and if they're touring, wherever they're touring, they like, mix up the set list each day, but they played the exact same set 5 times. Now it's Band-Maid, so I don't think and a few other people that repeated.
Band-Maid kept the same set, you said, those 5 times you saw them?
As far as I know, the set list was exactly the same 5 shows that they did in the US the last time.
Okay.
I think that might change this time, but
I think so.
They have a lot of songs. I mean,
also they got too many they got so many more songs even than they did in 2019.
I think they want to play them, as many as they can.
Andrew, thank you so much for a super chat, man. He said, from my experience, concert photography is the hardest thing to do. Jay Lane is a master. I could learn from him. Absolutely.
What a nice guy. Thank you very much. Nice comment. We could talk about that a little bit later if you want. I'll give you my opinion anyway. I'm sure other photographers feel differently.
Talk about it now.
I want to say one more thing about earplugs, though, believe it or not. And that is all 5 times, all 5 shows, as soon as I could hear the very beginning of Daydreaming come on, I took the earplugs out because I wanted to hear every undertone and overtone of Konami's, those bell-like sound tone that was coming out of her. I'm almost getting some chills thinking of just talking about it right now. That song still just really sends me as many other songs as I like. Holy cow, I'm seeing some pictures I almost didn't recognize.
How many I forgot I was gonna ask you, but so when you went to are some of the people you met at the Band-Maid concert you still talking to today? Or like has it been crazy how big the fan base has gotten since you started getting into Band-Maid? Because that was how long ago? A couple years ago? A few years now? Since
I discovered him in July 2017. I looked it up on my YouTube comments.
So
history.
5 years ago.
Over 5 years ago, yeah.
Wow. What do you think about the fan base?
Band-Maid discovery story.
What do you think about the whole band like exploding and stuff these past 2 years? Like, has it been crazy to see like the fan base getting bigger since you were there, like almost when it was like starting, right? So.
Well, when the momentum was starting, yeah. I mean, and I know people who were in earlier adopters, who I just wasn't paying attention, which is a shame, But better late than never. 90% or more, I'm just really ecstatic. I'm what little I can do to help promote them, I do, and I think a lot of people do that, evangelize for them and try, and want them to achieve world domination. I mean, they really, as much as any band, really deserve to make it big. And an interesting, and I remember a few years ago, I think I was wearing a Band-Maid shirt that I'd made myself. I was in a Michael's or something like that, or one of those kind of places buying some picture frames. Mm-hmm. And the saleswoman said, she was fairly young. She said, "Oh, is that Babymetal?" And that's when I realized I had my work cut out for me if I want to evangelize for Band-Maid. But yeah, I mean, I think, do you guys even have any idea how big they've grown since, say, in the last 3 years? I think quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely gaining some ground.
Thanks in no part to, is that the right way to put it? Thanks in large part to guys like you, who helped that whole viral spread of their popularity. I mean, look, they got 2.5, they're doing 13 shows instead of 5 last time. And most of them are sold out.
I wonder how much they're being reacted to nowadays too. Cause I mean, I know when they were doing reactions, like that was the thing. I remember seeing comment threads of people saying like, a lot of Maidiacs would go to any channel that posted a Band-Maid video.
There's a ton of them, dude. They're over on the Band-Maid community Discord. They usually keep a count when the new video comes out or something. It's just 90, 100. It's ridiculous. It's great.
That's really good because that generates a lot of money towards their direction, which is awesome. That's probably why they're able to afford so many more shows. So like the more reactions, the better, because like I said, that helps the record company see how much money's coming in from those reactions. That's the good thing of the reactions and doing them, because they do see those numbers, which is awesome. So it'd be cool to get like the exact like view count of all the reactions. I wonder how much it is, or if it rivals with other.
Probably somebody has that on some site or another.
Reddit see what revenue generated from the actions, how much it gets to them too.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I hugely am happy, by 99% super happy to see them grow, their popularity growing, and among other things, hopefully that would encourage them to keep on keeping on, keep on, stay together and keep playing. Even saying that gets me a little bit upset. Even thinking about them breaking up. But there's a little bit of, what it's like when you're relatively a pioneer liking something, you tend to think of the Johnny-come-latelys as, dilettantes or whatever. But, overall, I just embrace them. And, when somebody says, if I see somebody that comments on one of your you guys' YouTube videos, wow, I just discovered these guys last week. Thanks a lot. My attitude, and I'll even try to say to them is, hey, anytime is right. Or they'll say, I can't even believe I never knew about these people until last week or until today. I'll say, better late than never, or every time you can discover Band-Maid is the right time. So that's how I feel about it.
I was telling you, you're in for a great ride, man. And
exactly.
You had more music to discover than I did when I got into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm really excited. I can't believe it seemed like it was never going to come. And now I'm nervous that I haven't quite done everything I need to do, because in 2 weeks I'm going to be in San Francisco going to see them at the something theater.
Shit, that's coming up fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've never been to this many concerts in a month ever in my life. Like you were just saying, like you're going to 14 concerts. So I'm like, Pretty close, not 14, but we're pretty damn close. It's pretty crazy. And shout out to Charlie out there. I wasn't gonna make it to Aftershock, but he helped me out with the whole Aftershock. So thank you.
Cool.
So I'm actually able to go to that. By the way, if you guys saw my post, I'll re-update that post later. But I'm gonna be at the Aftershock one too. So I'm curious what set they're gonna do for the 30 minutes playing. So I'm pretty excited. I get to see that and see Nemophila again.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. Are you going to that one, the Aftershock one, or?
I was really tempted when I first heard about it, because in fact, Band-Maid had not announced a tour. Oh, NEMOPHILLA had not announced anything yet, and I was thinking, oh, I hope they're going to tour, because they seem to be ripe for that and ready. They got almost an album's worth of music out there.
Well, we found out she was pregnant.
Yeah,
we found out she was pregnant, and I think that's why they decided not to do the tour in the long run.
She's doing pretty well there for a pregnant lady when we saw her in July.
I know.
Though. I mean,
none of us.
I didn't know.
Yeah, none of us knew. Like, she did not. And now that I think about it, she was still moving, but like, compared to other concerts, we've seen her like run kind of. She was, as I remember, I'm like, she wasn't running, but I mean, it was a small stage, so I don't know. The point is, we didn't really know. We didn't fucking know.
How long ago was that?
Like, she must have been like,
not long ago.
She must have been a couple months. She must have been just a couple months pregnant, But it was just crazy. Like, still, how some people that are like, I'm done. You know what I mean? That break, So it was really cool to know that she was already in that state and she's still playing. And then she's still going to come back and play Aftershock, which is wild.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I want to see some video of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just decided I channeled my inner dad, who used to want to leave the ball games early so that he could beat the traffic, and I just decided, you know what? I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And I know I'm going to have some buyer's remorse for not going, but hey, I can revel in, I can enjoy it secondhand through you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to do a good video. I have a plan of filming everything. Stuff like that as much as I can while I'm there. Huh?
I have no plan.
Yeah.
I have no plan.
But,
when they announced it, they showed where they were going, and I showed the list of cities to my wife, and I said, just pick one. So I know it's probably all I'll be able to go to, because nothing's close. And she said, well, if we're going to go to something like that, let's go to LA. It's like, awesome. Yeah. And I have a viewer out there who told me months before, it's like, if you're ever in LA, let me know, I'll hook you up. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna call it in. He's like, you're set. I said, it's not just me hanging out for a show. It'll be me, my wife, and kids. He's like, no problem, dude. Come on out. I got you covered.
Oh, great.
And then people started, hey man, if you come to DC, I'm like, oh, come on, dude. And then my wife is awesome, by the way. She's like, you got time saved up at work? Go ahead, just go for it. And then I'm gonna be out there, so I'll get a ticket. And then somebody's like, I got you on this one. So the community is fucking great, dude.
Yeah, the community is awesome.
These are cities I've never been to, people I've never met, and a band I haven't seen. But I'm looking forward to all of it.
Well, I don't want to dwell too much on Band-Maid, although that's not a big problem, right? But anyway, I don't want to, but it just reminds me. I remember Miku, kind of half in English and half in Japanese, at one of the shows last time, essentially said, "We are from two different sides of the world, and we speak different languages, but music really brings us together, doesn't it?" She said something to that effect, and nice. It was heartwarming to hear her say that, but she really hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's why I started doing this. I mean, I go to shows, half to hear the music and half to take the pictures, but I take the pictures because I enjoy it, I guess, but also because it's kind of a way to give back to the musicians, especially the musicians who aren't as super big, they seem to enjoy and appreciate getting decent photos of themselves posted, and fans enjoy it. It's a way of contributing to the overall community.
So with the community with Band-Maid, the thing that's so amazing about it, I was thinking about this before we started a podcast. I was a fan of Protest the Hero back in the day, but I never went to shows. And I was thinking about that. I was like, I had a lot of favorite bands from back then. I never went to shows. And it's just wild. I don't know if it's just because we're doing reactions or you're doing photos and all of a sudden this past years, probably past 2 years, I think all of us going to insane amounts of shows, and it's like but a lot of it's community driven because of that. Like, it's gonna be so cool to meet up with other fans. Or I think in the past, when you wanted to go to a show, you're like, I don't want to go by myself. You know what I mean?
You can't find somebody, and you don't want to walk in like,
hey,
what's up,
weird.
guys? So I like this band too.
So that's what's really welcoming about, especially the Band-Maid community. Just the fact, like I said, somebody was able to get Ryan to multiple shows, and now he's going on like a tour. He's pretty much touring with Band-Maid at this point. But
yeah, right.
But
going to 5, right?
I mean, shout out to the community. I mean, I was fortunate with the same thing. You know, I was like, wow. I like told my dad. My dad has not heard Band-Maid yet. I don't know if I can get him to do it. It's like, hey, you want to come with me? We're going to go on a mini tour. It's like 5 days in a row. So hopefully he says yes. But
that'd be cool.
But yeah, so I was just crazy to think about. Like, I was like, why? It's like, but it's because when we go there, we have people to actually interact with also, you know, other people that like also love the band and stuff, and you can talk to them about it before and after the show. While you're waiting in line, it's not all awkward and weird. You can do chatting with everybody. That's what I noticed during the Nemophila one. That was fun, just standing outside in line waiting to get in. We just talked about Babymetal, talked about Band-Maid, talked about Nemophila, talked about Hanabiye. I was like, God damn. Oh, you guys all like the same shit.
And all those rivalries, you know, between people who just really favor one band or another seem to go away for the most part. I was with a guy who was like the second guy in line for Nemophila, a guy from Europe who's been living in LA a long time, and a super long time Babymetal fan. Never really was that familiar. Only heard of Nemophila shortly before the show. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun learning things I didn't know about Babymetal that he told me about, you know, and also hearing his perspective. And he was blown away by Nemophila. I mean, he said he couldn't believe how good they were. But yeah, you were asking earlier, Alan, about staying in touch with people. So yeah, the guy that I went to, the former YouTuber, I don't think he's YouTubing now, whom I went to see The Warning with. He and I are still in touch. Lives in South Carolina, and I had a beer with him when I was down there recently, earlier this year. I see my friend Brian Sembor is or was on the chat, and shout out to Brian. And it was really cool to see him at Scandal in Atlanta.
Oh, right on.
So I got to meet you in person, give a little man hug to you at the Whisky. And saw several other, you know, old friends. But the other thing is you make new friends. I mean, I got friends in LA and San Francisco and people from Finland that I've met that, you know, and everywhere else, you know, that go to these shows, and it's a great community.
The Nemophila concert was wild. I was not expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I knew like people like, we would run into people obviously, but I didn't think how many people would be willing to say hi, you know, or like to say what's up. Because like for Ryan and I, we don't have we see the names, but we don't know the faces, you know, like it's names and comments. So when you're like, and then they're like, oh, I'm this person in the chat. Like, oh shit.
Oh, hey. You mean people that recognize you?
Like, with the, no, I'm saying like when they say, hi, I'm this person in the chat. I'm like, oh, you're the person that comments on all comments on those videos. Right. That was wild to me, to see that.
Well, you guys and some of the better quality music commenters out there really contribute a lot, you know, and I think it means a lot to people. You know, we learn things from you, and it does create a sense of community, especially since I can barely find anybody in my family or original friends network or day job that I can get interested at all in the music that I like, you know, as good as it is. So I've had to kind of enjoy it. So if I watch one of you guys listening for the first time to something, I feel like, you know, it's kind of like, and I'm saying me, but I think a lot of people feel this way. I feel like I'm, you know, hanging out with some buddies in real life, you know, enjoying something together, like we're both looking at the monitor from the same side. So I think it means a lot to people. So that's why they're excited to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun.
Yeah,
there's some people that are some of these guys I talk to every day but haven't met, we're going to be like in various vehicles and locations all, for like 5 days. So we'll be,
maybe you should.
We'll really get to know each other better than we probably ever intended.
Yeah. Well, that could be, yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, I'm not as famous as you two in the community, but I have actually had people say, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. Oh, you're Jonathan Lane," and it's kind of fun, isn't it?
I think it's just an excitement of meeting new people. It's just wild, just meeting new people and getting to talk to them. Like you said, like you had that Babymetal fan tell you facts about it and stuff. Like that part's really cool, That's just the whole point, like if you don't have anybody to go with, you're definitely gonna be meeting up with somebody that you're going to connect with and talk with while you're there. And you can enjoy the concert with a bunch of other people and still talk. Like Ryan was just saying, you're going to be getting to know people more than probably originally intended. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is going to take me longer probably to detach the face I had in my brain of what these people might look like from what they actually look like.
Yeah.
Wait, who are you?
Every time you meet someone, be like, I thought you were going to look like this.
Totally not what I expected.
She get a photo of every single person, match it with the names on YouTube, and be like, this is what I thought you were going to look like. Just show them the picture.
That could be a whole. Well, or you could try to figure out a way. Maybe you could have like a whole Hollywood Squares display up there, like in Zoom, and rotate through it.
Look, we have to have a meeting before we go to this show.
Make some more money. So I'm with you though. I think there's two things. I can only assume because it was only a couple of years before the COVID shutdown that I was going to a lot of music shows, but not only rock, but also jazz and other things that I've been going to since, R&B and all that. But I think that shutdown really taught a lot of people a lesson, and that was, if you're a music fan, how much you care about and need live music. And I think certainly, if I can speak for musicians, how much they need to have an audience, not only financially, but because of the connection that gets made when somebody's playing some good music and people enjoying and popping their heads or dancing or whatever they're doing.
That's a really good point, man. I did 3 shows finally, and it was the greatest thing ever. I actually was like, this is what I want to do. Like, is play. I forgot how much I played before doing YouTube and stuff. I played a lot live, and man, I miss it. I miss doing the whole frontman thing in a band, and it kind of sucked when it got stagnant again. But yeah, it's totally true, because you do end up missing doing those shows a lot for sure. So
I heard, I guess it was around July of 2021 last year, that here and there venues or in any case shows started popping up again, and you could go to some live music here and there. And I started right away, and time after time after time, for even up to now, you're hearing people say, thank you for coming out. This is our first live show since 2020 or 2019 or whatever. And it was so, and I think it's sincere, at least most of the time it's sincere, and it's heartwarming, so that's why I like to keep on, both. I like to do my little part to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. I think like Band-Maid, when they come, they're going to feel a lot of love. Which is awesome. They're definitely
going to be shocked. Again.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. One last thing about that, Aftershock. I'm just really rooting for Nemophila and Band-Maid to get a whole new audience that they haven't had up to now. And I'm sure that's the strategy, of course, but I hope it pays off for them, because they certainly both deserve it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mikoto was saying in the chat, we should all get name tags that say, hi, my name is.
What?
There you go.
I thought of I don't know where, was it The Office? There's a skit or something where they put their name on or badge on their shirt, and it's something ridiculous.
Hey, maybe I'll do that. Would you wear one if I buy like 100 name tags?
I'll wear one. Hi, my name is.
Okay.
Put somebody else's name on it, and people be like,
no, that's not me.
No,
Wait, is your name
I'm a Diddy Malja.
So you did go to a Babymetal concert, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience? Because I did discover Babymetal way too late, and because
Me too.
will never see the full experience, ever.
Right.
So, did you see them with the 3 members, or did you saw them with the 2?
No, they were. It was in early spring 2019, and they already had that situation. Yeah, Yui was already gone, and they were rotating in a couple of other the Avengers members. Depending on the I guess the venue or the stage of the tour or whatever. And I did know her name. I can't remember it right now, but the young woman who was replacing her at the show I went to was great. I mean, the energy in the car. I heard a reactor early on in my listening to reactions career a few years ago. React to Babymetal for the first time. Might have been Road to Resistance or something, and she said, it shouldn't work, but it does. And I thought that was really pretty profound, and that's exactly the experience I had. I like them, but I wasn't. I don't think I'm as big a fan as you are, and Alan. Frankly, I hope Sue Metal isn't listening, because I'll deny it if he asks me.
The frog pits are open.
But I really do like them, and I hope I hope they really are coming back. Yeah. I'm sorry, Ryan.
No photos for you next time. She's like, I remember you.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I went in expecting it to be good, but I was still blown away. It was just so exciting. Just watching that nonstop energy, that dancing. I don't know if you can pull up. Maybe I could pull up a picture if you can't. I think her name was like Makoto or something like that. Momoka. That's the name. Momoka.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. You have so many photos, man. There's so many photos. That's why I need to go to Jonathan Lane's
I know.
Instagram.
I have a hard time finding the one I want to. Also, I'm in a hurry.
Check it out. He has so many. I found this really good Band-Maid photo. This is.
Let's look at that one.
That's a good. Photo.
Yeah, that's an infamous moment. Yeah, for people who either heard about it or were there at that show. That was the show at the Mercury Lounge. Apparently, Kanami. That's Kanami on the left. Stuff that's a what are those things called?
What the fuck is it? Pocky stick?
I had it on.
Pocky?
Yeah, Pocky. Apparently she stuck it up her nose until up Misa's nose, then it fed it like that, as you see there, to Miku, and that was like a big joke. So it was kind of funny to hear that afterwards.
And he got the photo of it.
But yeah, I snapped that. Yeah, well, I was so close. I had to keep on dodging when Misa would come, take a few paces towards the front of the stage. I had to like back up or get clocked by her headstock. It was that intimate a venue. It's just terrific. Oh, there's some baby. Yeah,
the best photo right here.
Yeah, she's adorable. She was great. But I was kind of near most of the time. I was kind of Momoko centric, and just really enjoyed her performance.
She was killing it with the dancing and stuff.
Just all the dancing, all the choreography. Just, the energy it's contagious.
Here it is. Here we go.
There we go. There she is on the right.
Oh yeah, she's getting into it. Yeah. So for those of you listening, we're just looking at Jonathan Lane's collection of photos of Babymetal right now. They're really good. Has some really good ones of Momoka, Mia, Sue, and yeah, awesome. Look really good, man. And like I said, he puts descriptions. You can tell your descriptions evolved later on. You can see, it's cool to see actually your photos. They got better and better and better. Like when we were up and then we're going down, you can see how you like improve like the coloring and everything to your photos. It was actually kind of cool to see like where you came from on those.
Thank you.
Was there something you did different?
When you go to a show, do you have? You come away with like hundreds of photos. You gotta look through to see to find these moments that are so good. You have so many great moments.
Thank you. Along with trying to perfect or improve my craft. I don't know if I'll be perfect, but to perfect my craft or improve it. One of my goals is to take fewer shots. It really depends on the situation. Some situations, the conditions are so dicey, I'll just take tons of shots. The penalty for that doesn't cost anything. It's not film, right? Penalty for that is I got to go through them all to find the ones that I like.
Yeah.
If you don't take that many,
like
you might miss something.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure I did. I didn't take that picture of Gandhi, by the way. That's one of the few pictures on my Instagram that I did not take. It was his birthday, I think.
Oh, well, I really thought you took this one. I was like, damn, how'd you get that?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
That's a good shot.
It is a nice picture. I'm not that old, though. Yeah, but yeah, I've been working on it. I mean, I try to say, you know, I'd like to be able to express better than what I feel about the music, and that's, you know, I'm not bad with the English language, but I need better vocabulary, so I'm working on it.
Awesome, man. These are really nice, man.
Thank you.
I love this one.
I enjoy
right here.
Yeah, I look back at these sometimes and I think, holy cow,
awesome.
I can't believe I was looking at Band-Maid and it was like 5 feet away. You know,
yeah.
I did the VIP. I did the VIP a couple of times on that tour, and I was trying to say something specific, you know, emphatically to Miku. When you're approaching the VIP, you know, the meet and greet area, they have signs up that say, "Please, no phone pictures with your phones, and don't touch the artists." Right? Which, you know, I certainly understand that. But I accidentally touched Miku's hand. She didn't seem to care at all. But I suddenly realized that my hand was on hers, and I went like that. I went, oh my God! I hope nobody's. But I didn't wash that hand for a week. But I think what's going to be disappearing as they get bigger and bigger, and probably even at these shows, this tour, is that without getting into the pit, you're not going to be able to get quite as close. I mean, I was like right up there, you know.
Yeah, that's
like
how.
I said,
this is good photo right here.
I
love
like
this
that
one. I love this one.
Goofy.
Yeah, this one's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's an awesome photo, Psyche.
That was at the Echoplex in LA.
Freaking Instagram.
Oh my God, that face is great, man. Guys, if you're listening, you're missing out. Go check out Jonathan Lane's Instagram. Man, these are
Jonathan.Lane.photographer.
Yeah. It pops up right away too. How do you, it's you guys should see the link. It just posted a few minutes ago in the chat. It's posting periodically. Here, I'll post it again for you guys so you guys have it. Here we go. But it's posting every 10 minutes in the chat. And it won't let me copy paste. But anyway, Jonathan.Lane photography, right?
Jonathan.Lane photographer.
Okay.
You'll see my JL logo. You'll know it's me.
This is a great one of Psyche, man. You caught a good one right there. And Konami looks great too. They all look great. They're awesome. So Momoka stole the show then when you went to the Babymetal concert with the dances stuff.
Well, hey, I enjoyed. I mean, it was great hearing Sue Metal's voice right there live was pretty exciting too. I like her voice a lot. I was a little, frankly, again, don't tell him I said this. You know, the remainder of the Kami band wasn't with them anymore, with some other guys. I mean, they were competent musicians and it sounded great, but it just wasn't quite as good as the Kami band that you'll see from, you know, live videos from several years ago. But yeah, it was a killer show. The fans were electrified. You know, that's always fun. I got kind of squished a little bit.
How are the fans? How are the Babymetal fans when you're out there in person? How is that?
A little bit more enthusiastic, a little bit more insane than, say, the Nemophila Band-Maid crowd, I'd say.
Yeah.
A little bit less, you know, like I said, as I think it was around the beginning of the second song, the whole standing room crowd rushed the stage, and all of a sudden everybody was squished, you know, like toothpaste tubes. But
I believe it.
Kind of easy.
I believe Babymetal fans are insane.
Yeah, but they knew the words, and you know, the whole time, you know, doing this, which is one of the challenges. If you're not in the pit, you know, which only if there is a pit, and I get to get a pass and get to go there, there's a protocol. It's pretty much standard that you get to be there and take some up close shots for 3 songs, and you got to vamoose out of there. You still walk around the rest of the venue and take some long distance shots and stuff.
Yeah.
So, more often than not, I'm in the crowd, and either in the front row or in the first several rows I'll try to get to, because otherwise there's all kinds of other challenges. But
I always...
that's...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Eric had a really good question for you, man. What's the trick to getting clear photos in dark places like concert venues?
I can't tell you that. I'd have to kill you. That's our fellow Maidiac there, who music fan, who made that comment about it being difficult. Now, it's not as difficult as being a good musician, but is that except for the second, the top 50% or less of the big bands, the bands that you have to pay $80, $100, $200 for the tickets, to put it that way. Generally speaking, in most venues, the lighting is not very good, and or nobody seems to care about it. And musicians, they got too many other things to think about to realize that. I did have a talk with a jazz musician that's going places, or has already gone places, but they're going to go further places, that I'm friendly with him and his bandmates. And he and I actually have a deal to maybe talk about doing some good lighting ahead of time. But to answer your question, how do I deal with it? I deal with it a few different ways. I've had to, go from decent cameras to better cameras to spending more money than I wanted to get a main camera that can allow me to take low light pictures that I can still play with a little bit and get a nice end product.
What kind of camera?
The main thing.
What kind of camera do you use?
Well, I've got 6 cameras, right?
Oh, wow.
Don't tell my wife. But I got 6 cameras. The ones, and
they're just as expensive as guitars, by the way. Cameras are just as expensive as guitars.
Yeah. It could be a lot like, so sort of mid, average kind of, like people who like have a Strat, and an SG or something like that. This is just a squeeze toy. But this, I was using just cameras this size on the Band-Maid tour, and I got pretty good results. But it sometimes requires a little bit of post-production to make that happen.
Was that a stress camera you had right there?
Yeah, it was a stress camera.
Is that's in one hand? Real camera's in the other hand. Oh my God, get out of my way. God damn it. Put your fucking phone down so I can take a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, this is a great photo.
Yeah, but they're about that size. But I've had to kind of go back to heavier ones and heavy lenses because I get good results from that, And,
for sure.
It's worth, it's what I want to do. So it's worth it. I mean, it's kind of like, you gotta, until you've made it, or unless you're rich and you're performing, you got to carry, you got to lug your own gear into the venues, right? And plug your own amps and carry all those wires and do all that stuff fast in the dark.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a similar challenge, if I may say so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is you just got to be patient. And the more I practice, I find the more I'm able to catch those fleeting moments when the light is decent or good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man,
exactly.
I just went to your site and you got your cover picture's an awesome shot of Haraguchi-san from Nemophila.
Oh yeah, She was a good subject. I like the one with her tongue sticking out.
This is another good one of Psyche. You have some good photos of Psyche here.
Well, hey, she's easy. She does good stuff.
That's the thing. And like having the artist be expressive, because that could not happen either. Have you ever had a band you took photos of that just like stand there and go?
Yeah, exactly. When I thought you were going that direction. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people they can be great, but they just stand up. They look, sort of like a bluegrass group, where they kind of look, and then they expressionless. But it'll be a rock band or a metal band, and they just don't do a lot of stuff, or so I try to make them look interesting. I'll just play around maybe on my computer and make it look interesting. Take some crazy angles, get down really low. That's what you got to do in order to try to make it interesting. If you do you still have my Instagram up? I reposted a picture that mysteriously disappeared today. Unbelievable. No way.
They might have taken it down. So you were, he was talking about this before we started the podcast. You just recently went to a 1OK Rock show, right?
Yeah.
And they took down your picture.
I've never heard of that happening.
Yeah, it can happen. Some people don't allow you to do photos of them without proper licensing or permission to take the photos. That does happen with some bands. It's crazy, and especially if they know which venue it is. Nowadays, camera when you take pictures on our cameras, like it has all this metadata that's in the actual photo when you take it. So sometimes they have a way of seeing where and when that shot was taken, and they can figure out if it's at a specific concert, and they'll take it down because they're probably going to release a photo album of that concert, or they're going to release the actual show. So that can happen.
I gotta say, that's the first time that's happened to me, but now I know.
Yeah.
Well, I got to thrill a 100 or so or more fans in a couple of hours today who really liked that photo.
Keep posting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's no secret. There was no secret. I said where it was. Maybe,
Oh, there's that too. There's that too. Maybe don't post it, but they can tell. Right. They can tell nowadays with the photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll have to double check. Well, yeah, but like I said, I was very upfront about it. Well, I'll tell you what.
There's a way to hide the information in the photo, so they can't see where it was taken.
But I was very explicit about it, and I usually am.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we all learned something today. But can I use the share function for a moment?
It'll mess up everything on here. So it won't show properly,
never mind.
But you can email it. You can email it to me, though.
In that case,
you can message
it.
Self-destruct
with it.
If you want, though, go ahead and message me message it to me. You should be able to send me the photo through Instagram, and then I can pull it up.
That's great. Yeah. Maybe the same photo police are watching this show. This page isn't available. Oh, okay. I got 25 likes before they took it down again. That was twice they took it down. I guess that's what happened.
Paul's saying that he can still see One OK Rock photos, so maybe it's a regional thing.
Oh, you know what? I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, it did show up. It is there now. I just refreshed. Did you just put it back up?
While we were setting up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I had your Instagram pulled up like way before, so maybe it just had to have a good refresh.
Oh, let's do it real quick. Yeah. So this was just Tuesday night, 2 days ago. Great opening acts. There was an American group and a British group, kind of in a similar vein musically, especially the first one to One OK Rock, and people have. Some of the Band-Maid to Nemophila to Crystal Lake crowd don't particularly like these guys because it's maybe too poppy for them. But I got to tell you, especially live, these guys put on a killer show. And considering that they're doing it in the U.S. as opposed to, the kind of resources that they can pull to do a show, the shows that we've all seen on video in Tokyo, let's say, they put on a killer show. I mean, the lighting isn't good, but the lights are good. The audio is perfect. Yeah. They didn't miss a note, and it's just tons of energy. It was really fun, and yet the crowd was both energized and had a lot of fun.
That's
and
awesome.
Back to your point, yeah. So I was able to capture this one of him, and as I described it, he was just—you can see the sweat on him. He was just enjoying looking at the crowd for a minute, who were all looking at him like. Like that emoticon, that emoji with the two hearts in your eyes. A much bigger higher female to male ratio than, say, a Band-Maid or a Warning concert. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so he was moving around constantly, and I did have some obstacles, and I was unable to obtain a pass or get arrested, so to speak, in trying to get any attention to get one. So I just did, what I could do to capture some good pictures, again, just to share with their fans, and maybe the band will like them too. So, but yeah, it was a great show, and I enjoyed it. And
I reacted to one live song by them because of Eric. Eric likes One OK Rock. He showed me one song, and the live was really good. I actually liked it way better than I heard from the recorded ones, and that was just through screen. Yeah. So I can't imagine how they are seeing them in person. It was a really heartfelt live concert when I watched it. It seemed really good. So I'm not surprised that they killed it while they were there, you know?
You know, have you seen that video? They've done a couple of times where they did a live show. One looks like it was in Budokan or a big place like that, where they had, you know, the whole audience was singing "We Are" with them. Did you ever see that?
That's the one I saw. Yep. That's the one I saw.
It'll bring a tear to your eye.
It does.
It's really
yeah.
cool.
Oh, I was tearing up for that one. It was blocked. Unfortunately, it's one of our blocked reactions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, well, that's where it goes. But so I got to have a mini version of that experience Tuesday night, because while I did have to, you know, it was just another slob in the crowd like everybody else, about maybe 5 rows back or so, 5 people rows back. I was surrounded by a delightful bunch of Japanese college students who were over here in the U.S. studying abroad for a year.
Oh, wow.
And one nice thing, you know, so and they're all very nice, and we chatted, we talked, and I want one thing I think you guys will really appreciate. I was wearing last night. I was wearing instead of my generic music T-shirt, I was wearing a Band-Maid T-shirt, and I said, "You know them, right?" And not one of these college students knew Band-Maid. One of them, I think, thought he vaguely maybe was kind of familiar with their name. And I'd even tried singing, you know, Band-Maid. No, nothing. I got nothing there. That was their response.
I've had a surprising amount of Japanese people commenting on my videos, like, "Oh, I'm so glad you introduced me to Band-Maid." It's like,
yeah.
Sometimes this is immersed as we are ourselves in their music that we forget there's still a long way to go.
Well, you know, it's rock is huge there, and boy, are we so lucky to have. I mean, Japan is, I think, the musician community and the music lover community has done a tremendous amount to kind of sustain and keep rock alive, you know, in my opinion, and jazz too. But yeah, I mean, the vast majority of people like idol groups and kind of stuff that us guys might think is kind of poppy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And these guys are wildly popular. I'm pointing because I have the picture on my other monitor. One OK Rock are wildly popular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're known from like everywhere, you know. Where Band-Maid, I feel like they're more known here. I think Mikoto was mentioning too that isn't known in Japan as much. I think that's true because when I talk to Ray from One Eye Close, he tells me all the time. He's like, not as big as you guys like as people say they are in consideration, but I think in the U.S. they probably have a huge fan base. Not that they don't everywhere else, they do, but they wouldn't be coming here for 13 shows. I think if there wasn't a high demand here for it either, you know.
Right. They're buying a lot of stock in the North American market. You know, they see, but they are. Yeah, I mean, they certainly have a lot of rabid fans in Europe and UK and Latin America too.
Of course, yeah.
Mexico and South America.
Yeah, I think
cool thing for them is they'll never not have those fans.
Exactly. You know. When they go look at their analytics probably, and that's how they determine like where they're going to do shows, I have a feeling like it shows you all demographics of countries and where they're coming from. So they see exactly where the amount of support is pouring out. So I always tell everyone, if you're in another country and stuff like that, you guys want them to go. Even Ray said it on our interview that we did with him. He said straight up to us, he's like, for Japanese bands, the only way for them to go to certain areas is they have to see in the analytics that's worth it for them to go to those countries. So they have a certain threshold that they look for in JPU records to decide who's going to go and who's not going to go. You guys check out the interview with Ray. He breaks that all down. So they only can do that. So they look for all the comment sections, the comments in you guys are leaving. They look at all that, look at all the analytics and how much revenue they're getting. Yeah. Because each country has a different revenue threshold also. Like where I think the leading one, it goes Australia, the US, and then so forth. And they have the breakdown of currency. And that's how they figure it out or where they're going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough. We all see this all the time. You'll see in whatever kind of social media, you'll see a band posted there, and somebody will post a remark that says, "Come to Peoria." It's probably not going to happen. With all respect to Peoria, and at least for a while,
Come to Indiana.
Well, or Indiana. Yeah. But. Yeah, it took me a while I was a little naive about that too, I think, at the beginning, and I figured out, I mean, it's a major undertaking. It's a major undertaking for me to go to LA or to go to, when I went to Japan, to go to Japan. There's a lot of planning involved, and it's a lot less risk than a band is taking. They got to bring a few roadies with them, and they got to bring equipment with them, and flights and hotels.
Shit.
And all that.
If it doesn't work, then the record company's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than just making it there. You gotta hope and deliver.
Well, whoever bought the tickets, Band-Maid almost sold out almost every single show within a week, within anywhere from hours to within a week.
Well, I was thinking it's too bad they don't get like the money people are spending just to get to a show. They don't see any of that. Really, they get their ticket.
United Airlines should give them
people 10%. Are spending like thousands of dollars just to get there. Mm-hmm. And that's going to all these other people that, have nothing to do with it.
I think it's going to be a good thing. Yeah. So let's see what else is on in store. I was telling Alan earlier, I was hoping to go see Otoboke Beaver, because they're here on the East Coast in the near future. But I try to let the universe tell me now if it just ain't going to work or not. And then the universe just didn't want me to see the Beaver. So I'm going to skip that one. But do you guys know Haru Nomori?
No.
Nope.
I'll check her out myself, and then I'll let you know if you should check her out. Okay. She's an artist from Japan. Speaks pretty good English from what I can see. And I'm going to be seeing her and hopefully stealing some shots in about 10 days or so.
Oh, so before we, since it is already coming to September 29th, you want to show everyone that canvas that members and Patreon supporters can win? That's what we were supposed to talk about before this, but go ahead. That was one of the things I knew I forgot to ask you about something.
I'm going to show the one that's on my wall, because the one that we're sending out to a lucky contestant is in a box.
Oh, okay, awesome. Sorry. You have a couple canvases. So he has this canvas that he's going to be sending out.
A little bit tricky with.
It got green screen.
You have to turn
green screen problems. Oh, you've seen the best parts right there. Oh, look at that! It's kind of signaling out the person. Yeah.
We have Konami on the show.
Konami's here.
That's the most important part. That's the most important part, anyway.
That's a strong green screen. That picture's not even green, is it?
Yeah, no, I'm not using a green screen. One of these days I'll get around. I have one, but
it looks like this, guys. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
But thank you. His is on a canvas, and so yeah,
it's 16 by 20.
So all the members and Patreon supporters, if you're a Patreon and member, you get 2 names in the hat, and then we'll be picking it up on stream to who won at the end of October after the tour's over with Band-Maid.
Right, happy to do it.
I'm sorry, say again?
There's an overwhelming swell of entries. Maybe we could sweeten the pot a little bit with a printer.
Oh, yeah, that
canvases, but maybe a 16 by 20 print of
get active people.
Many people's favorite artists.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I was like, I got lost in the chat. Somebody said the chat went down and distracted me. So I guess our stream died for like a second. I didn't even.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Interesting. Everybody back now? I don't know what happened. Wow, I guess. Yeah, stream died. Wow. Everything's being recorded, so it'll be up on all this podcast will be still up on Spotify and all that stuff afterwards.
Cool.
And so don't worry. Stream said no. That was weird. Yeah, just refresh it, guys. I don't know what happened. So we're just talking about the memberships and all that stuff. It looks like I just saw a glitch over to my left too, so I don't know what's happening. Let me do a refresh. Maybe I'm seeing stuff. So
refresh all good.
Wait, hold on. Something's happening here. So, wow. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys I hear people yelling in the background. One sec.
Fuck.
Oh, something's happening there.
Yeah, something happened there.
Yeah, I saw somebody make some kind of comment about Tower Records. That's just a snapshot I took of the the Tower Records. There's a couple of them in the greater Tokyo. Or a few of them. I think this one is very often the one that if you'll see a picture of your favorite Japanese artists posing it at a record store, it's very likely there. So it's a Disneyland of music. There's about 5 or 6 stories.
Is there even any left here? Tower Records left in the States?
No, I think they might have. I think they might be going. They might be reviving the name, and I think I heard something about maybe selling them online. But yeah, the last ones in the U.S., as far as I know, closed a while ago. But
yeah,
the Japanese seem to like the physical media more than we do. You know, cassettes, vinyl.
I wish I could walk into a store and pick up all these albums I'm trying to get.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I was before. I saw, before my Band-Maid epiphany 5 years ago, I was down to about 5 CDs that I kept for sentimental reasons. I'd given away or sold all the rest of them to a record store, cheap, and had a bunch more room. And now I have a giant drawer. I'm about to have to spill over to a second drawer in my living room with Band-Maid, Scandal, Nemophila. Well, I think I'm about to get a One OK Rock CD, you know, in honor of the tour that I just went, you know, show I just went to, and the new EP, Band-Maid EP.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I got a collection again. I even own a couple of. Ryan? You know Aldius?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Right when my favorite vocalist of theirs quit, they released a few years ago, Reno. They released a some kind of special vinyl album, and I bought not one but 2 copies of it. And I don't own a turntable, so I don't know what that means about me. But
there's a lot of people that are getting a lot of vinyl from these bands. They don't have turntables. They frame them, put them up on the wall. Right. It's cool to have that big picture. And I started a few years ago. If I found a new band I'd like, I make a point just to order a CD or go find one, just so there's something. Because if you buy a CD, you're gonna give them thousands of dollars or thousands of plays worth of what they would get streaming. Like, right. if you like a band, buy some of their merch because they don't get shit from you on streaming.
That's why I do it mainly.
So every time now, like you're saying, I had like 5 or 6. I'd like, you know, Alice in Chains put out a new album, I get a CD. So every couple of years, I'd get a CD, and then it's like all of a sudden, I gotta catch up on like 40 goddamn bands, and you know, get it from Japan.
But yeah, there's a way to give them. At least they get 20 cents from me out of it. It helps sustain them, and it's a way. I guess having that physical thing kind of gives a little feeling of connection with them too.
Yeah. But that shows for them. It shows a record company that people interested. So you know, then they continue supporting that band.
I tend to listen though streaming rather than playing my CDs or, you know, ripping them and listening to my version of them, because I figure again, at least 5 cents goes to Band-Maid every time I listen to.
Yeah, or probably 0.5 cents, if that.
Yeah, or 0.5 cents. I think Alan's frozen. He was adjusting his camera.
I'm still here, guys. You guys go ahead and keep talking.
Stuff out on his end, so.
I'm still here, guys. Stuff is going haywire over here, so I'm still trying to fix it. Keep on talking, guys. You guys are good. I'm still listening.
All right.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
I could talk about this stuff all day. I mean, I've been, you know, I never did this when I was younger, but I mean, I've stood in line for some people. Everybody knows this. I've stood in line for 8 hours and possibly even a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
For a show. I never used to. I don't like to stand wait more than a half an hour for, you know, to get into Fridays or something or
right. And there's some of these nuts I'm going to be
running Cheesecake Factory.
We got to get there at 7 a.m. The show starts at 9. It's like,
yeah.
Fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it's rough, but I've done it, and but the nice thing is that you can the time gets filled up because there's so much, you know, when you have, it's good stuff, you know, music, and it doesn't have to all be J-rock, but you know, but you have people together who are all getting a lot of satisfaction, gratification from the same thing, and have a certain common affection for their favorite artists, and the time kind of goes by pretty fast. I found most of the time.
Went to a show a couple weeks ago. It was In Flames. I don't know if you know who they are. And I knew them but really like 2 albums from them. But I really loved what it was, and it was the first band for a while that come around that I had interest in seeing. So I went with my best friend. We both took our kids, and it was the boys' first concert, and it's heavy. It's very heavy music.
Yeah, I listened to just a little bit just the other day for the first.
All right, so we go, and there was 3. I had to work the next day, and it was starting at like 7. There's 3 bands open. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be here all night. I didn't care once it started. We walked in there, and I turned around and looked at my boy's face, and he never heard anything that loud or felt music like that before. He's so happy, and we saw Vended and oh shit,
Vended?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's pronounced Vended. Yeah.
They kept saying Vended, so I guess that's how you do it. But I didn't know anything about them, and it was great, And then we were standing in line to get shirts, and the dude standing in front of us actually started talking to us. I'm like, yeah, I never heard of him. He's like, oh yeah, blah blah, and Griffin Taylor and this and that. And I'm like, then he said something about it being Corey Taylor's son. I'm like, what? It was, yeah, it's Corey Taylor's son. I'm like, what? No wonder he sounded just like it. But then the band came out.
Stuff, right?
Yeah, then the band came out to the table and just hanging out. So we got to meet the band and got a picture with them, and met the Anders from In Flames, singer from In Flames, got a picture with him. He after the show, he just hung outside the stage and talked to people. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool.
It's yeah, it is nice to if it's somebody that you just encountered for the first time that night when you're at a show, or somebody that maybe you've been following or you're a real fan of. Yeah, getting to meet the person is a nice thing, and it's nice. It's nice to be reminded that most of them seem to be very concerned about it too, to make sure their fans know that they care about them and that they're just human beings like you and me. Others, I understand they feel like they're pretty beat by the time they're done doing their set, and they just kind of want to.
Yeah, there's four bands. All the gear was on the stage, so Vended had literally like fucking 5 feet from the edge of the stage. That's all they had, and they put on a killer fucking show, dude.
Yeah.
But they didn't have. They're about ready to fall off the stage every time they moved around. They didn't care.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of situations like that. Yeah, where everything's all crammed up there, all teed up, ready to go, as opposed to doing the big switcheroo in between bands. But it's nice when you get to meet them. Completely different topic. A fun. Music-wise, a fun group that I saw. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if punk is really much of your thing, but I've discovered that I like punk quite a bit more than I thought I did in recent years. And there's this group called the Linda Lindas. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They're teenagers out of LA, and they do like they have a real kind of their own take on kind of I would say a Ramones kind of sound, like real pure American kind of punk. Mm-hmm. But they're like these sweet teenage kids from LA that really care about the environment and all these other kind of things. Yeah. And they were great. But so we're waiting outside to come in at this nice venue I've been to a few times in Philly. And 2 of the members came after they'd gone. We could see them go, as you often do if you're waiting, they'll quickly walk past you and wave, and everybody goes, "Arr!" Well, they did that. And then I guess they did a sound check, and then they came back. 2 of them came back out and just made a little speech and walked along the line of people that were waiting to come in and said, "Hey, we want to thank you for coming out to the show. We really appreciate it." Took selfies with people.
That's great, man.
I love when that happens.
That'll solidify a fan base for it. They go somewhere and they have a chance to interact like that.
Yeah.
Even little like within Flames, the guitar player and singer walked by the one edge of the stage as people went to that way to go to the bathrooms, and it wasn't scheduled. He didn't have to. He just hung around, and he appreciates it.
Yeah, sure. No, people have egos, and they. I notice a lot of musicians don't give themselves credit for being as amazing as they are, and I think they're just always surprised that people go through all kinds of trouble and expense to come and see them and cheer and wait the whole thing. So I guess that's good. Speaking of that, well, back to Band-Maid, a topic I'm always willing to talk about. Yeah, had a few flybys when while waiting to see them in New York, and that was a lot. That was a real blast too. They they were done with their sound check at this place called the Mercury Lounge, and they all went walking. Psyche went a different direction for some reason. We were all speculating, trying to figure out what it was. And then she came back by herself. And apparently I was busy doing something else, so I missed it. But she kind of walked back to the entrance where a bunch of people were standing, and they saw her walking up there. And she kind of, I'm going to have a green screen thing again, but she just kind of walked up, waiting for people to say something, looking around at the people, and nobody did anything. I think everybody was too much in awe, but either way, they didn't react. So she just kind of went and walked inside. And I did get to, I have a feeling that they're going to always be approachable. I mean, they got to have security and, safety, but I think that, they haven't lost any humility. And that's what I love about so many musicians I've met, even ones that have been around a lot longer than they have. That humility is really heartwarming.
Yeah.
So what else? I don't know. You mentioned Band-Maid.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you ready to wrap it? We could wrap it up, or we could go on a longer.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we probably should wrap it up. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm sorry. I just keep living in bad areas with internet, and I don't know what's going on. It's I checked. That's why I took the phone off. I went and go checked it right now, and it's just, I don't know what's going on with our provider, and it sucks here in El Paso, Texas. You only can use Spectrum. That's it. So unless you live in the
monopoly, so they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So unless you live in the richer areas, which one of my studios was in those areas, but I had lost that studio. So if you don't live in the rich areas, your internet's just screwed. So
you have pretty good internet here in South Jersey, Alan.
I know, right? I would love to move back up northeast. My whole family's up there. I mean, that's where I'm from, but but yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you guys are able to catch a lot of it. And Jonathan, if you're more than welcome to come on again. I would love to have you on again, man. I hate to cut off early, but I do know people are just seeing it cut in and out. I did record everything, guys, and I will post it later. And just one last shout out, go check out his Instagram, guys. Give him a follow, Jonathan.Lane Photographer. The link just posted in the chat. You can see it right there. If you click on that link, it also has his website that's going to have his photos and also too on there. So you got his website that's right there in the chat, along with his Instagram. But it would really mean the world to us and the community if you guys give him a follow. It's always motivating to get that appreciation for the hours of work he puts in on the photos and editing them. I know how much work that can take, man, and we appreciate you for doing it. And they look great.
Guys.
So we love it. And thank you for the pictures, the Band-Maid pictures, like the giveaway to fans and stuff. That's really exciting, helping us out.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the canvas looks beautiful. They did see the commercial. We all loved your commercial. We played on the past 5 shows. So today's the cutoff day, though, guys, for that. If you're a Patreon and member already, don't worry. You're going to be entered into winning. And if you do want to be entered in win, just become a member or a Patreon and put your name in there. If you are a previous member, don't worry about it. We're still going to add you. So.
And you should be supporting these guys anyway, because they're really contributing a lot to our music-loving community. So do it.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man. And then, last thing, we just dropped the Maidiac shirts. Check those out, too. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan designed these.
I'm going to be getting myself one of those.
This came out great, by the way, Ryan. I know you said yours was not as... You said yours was a little
solid
different,
ink on there?
Yeah, this one's great, man. I got the black one that's on the front. I was like, it even fits perfect. I'm like, man, I'm going to order more shirts like this.
All right. I'll have to get a black one.
Yeah, actually, the hoodie looks pretty athletic in that one.
Yeah, this
one. I got a hoodie. The hoodie's good.
Yeah, I need to find out which one it was. I can't remember. It's one of the premium ones. I was like, fuck it, I'll get it. Let me get, because I always get T-shirts and they're always itchy and stuff. This one was perfect. Right out of the bag, I threw it on. I didn't even wash it.
Nice.
Probably bad idea, but
Well,
but yeah.
I guess I'll be getting myself one of those T-shirts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Great job, Ryan. It's awesome job.
Hey, well,
great.
Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. I hope it was interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Man. This was fun. Got the
inside perspective of shows is always worth a watch, man.
Yeah, because Ryan and I have no clue, so we have no clue yet when it comes to seeing Band-Maid live and Babymetal live and all that stuff. We're gonna have a lot to
talk about.
If I
can steal Ryan, I might steal one of you guys to like help me prop up my camera. One of those shows that we're going to together, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, like I'll have to sit on the stage and hold it for you. Because I'll do that if
I'll hold you up.
You get the clearance.
Me up and just get a better perspective on the stage.
I'm not putting you on my shoulders.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, guys, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it.
All right, man. Thanks, yeah.
Spending time with you.
All right, guys. You guys have a good one.
Night.
See you.
See you in the mosh pit.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Still not ended.